While Iran has been pushing for the cessation of fighting in Lebanon as a key element of the peace deal with America, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in no mood to buckle down. He has now ordered the IDF to escalate its offensive to crush Hezbollah.
We will hit them. It's true that they are shooting drones at us, fiber optic drones. We have a special team working on that, and we will solve that too. In the meantime, you are showing resilience. I want to bless the residents of the North's resilience that inspires all of us. But what this requires of us now is to increase the blows, to increase the intensity. We will smite them with overwhelming force.
Subsequently, Prime Minister Netanyahu held a security meeting in Tel Aviv along with Defense Minister Israel Katz and the IDF Chief General Eyal Zamir. As the IDF stepped up its strikes, clouds of smoke were seen above the hills in southern Lebanon. In fact, in a massive escalation, Israel had struck the Bekaa Valley's Karadun Dam. This assumes significance as it is Lebanon's largest dam, which supplies electricity and water to several towns across Bekaa. According to Lebanon's state-run national news agency, an Israeli strike on a village in East Lebanon killed 12 people. Rescue workers said that a dozen bodies were pulled out of the rubble following the strike. The IDF also targeted over 100 sites allegedly linked to Hezbollah in the Bekaa Valley and southern Lebanon. As per the IDF, this included weapons storage facilities, headquarters, observation posts, and an arms warehouse allegedly used by Hezbollah to carry out attacks against Israel. IDF's escalation comes at a time when Hezbollah's kamikaze drones have caused considerable damage to Israel, as they're difficult to detect, being remotely operated through fiber optic cables. A day earlier, Hezbollah had released a video showing its drones hitting Israeli military positions in southern Lebanon's Rashaf. Since the start of the ceasefire, remember, at least 10 IDF soldiers have been killed. Amid this, residents in Dahieh, a suburb of Beirut, began evacuating overnight in a state of panic. Visuals showed heavy traffic congestion as people began moving into downtown Beirut, as well as southwards of Lebanon's capital. The IDF has also warned residents of Nabatiyeh to immediately evacuate and move north of the Zahrani River ahead of the expected attacks against Hezbollah. Meanwhile, people displaced from Beirut's southern suburbs expressed their anguish at the current situation.
What ceasefire? Since the last war in 2025, there is no ceasefire. They talk about a ceasefire, but where? They are bombing every day in the south.
Now, a day earlier, Hezbollah also retaliated in response to Israel's ceasefire violation. It claimed to have targeted 3 barracks and a military post in northern Israel using its drones. The human cost of this war has been growing as well. As per Lebanon's health ministry, a staggering 3,185 Lebanese have been killed and 9,633 others have been injured since the 2nd of March, when Israel began its war. The war has also displaced over 1.1 million people. All right, shifting our focus now to India. A curious case of the class 12 student from Delhi has sparked a national conversation about digital exam evaluation, social media trolling, and how quickly the internet can turn against somebody who simply asks a question. This is the story of Vedant Srivastav and began after the CBSE declared the class 12th results on the 13th of May. Vedant, who was satisfied with his scores in other subjects, felt that his physics marks did not match his performance in the exam. So like many students do every year, he applied for scanned copies of his answer sheets on the 19th of May. When the copies arrived on the 23rd of May, he noticed something shocking. The physics answer sheet linked to his roll number did not appear to be his at all. Vedant claimed that the handwriting was different, the answers were different, and even the overall presentation of the paper did not match his writing style. And to prove his point, he posted side-by-side screenshots of his English and computer science answer sheets on social media. Very quickly, remember, his post had gone viral. It crossed more than 3.2 million views on X and turned into a bigger debate about possible errors in CBSE's new digital evaluation system. But instead of only receiving support, this teenager found himself at the center of online trolling. Social media users targeted him, questioned his claims, and some even labeled him a Pakistani simply for raising concerns about the board system. This incident connected with a larger concern as well among many of the Class 12 students who have been discussing possible issues in the on-screen marking process introduced by the CBSE. Now, as this controversy grew, Vedant's brother, Siddhant Srivastav, publicly defended him. He said the answer sheet had clearly been exchanged with someone else's and urged people to stop attacking the student online. Eventually, Vedant was proven right. The CBSE acknowledged that a technical issue had resulted in an incorrect scanned copy being uploaded against his roll number. The board later reached out to the family and sent a corrected mark sheet as well. After days of online attacks, the family celebrated the board's admission in the simplest way possible, and that is with the quintessential Rajma Chawal. But the story has left behind bigger questions. How reliable is digital evaluation? How quickly do social media trials target young students? These are the questions that as a society we all need to think about. From the battlefields of Eastern Europe to conflicts in West Asia, one weapon is changing modern warfare: the low-cost kamikaze drone. Countries across the world are now rushing to build their own versions of Iran's deadly Shahid drones, and the latest country to join this race is Saudi Arabia. According to a report by American news website Semaphore, a new joint venture between Utah-based Vector Defense and Saudi firm SR2 Defense Systems is building a drone factory near Riyadh. The facility will reportedly produce a long-range attack drone known as Sky Wasp. Now, this drone can reportedly hit targets up to 1,500 kilometers away, a distance that puts all of western, central, and southern Iran within range, including major cities such as Tehran, Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tabriz within striking distance, especially from Saudi Arabia's eastern coast. In fact, just for perspective, the shortest over-water distance across the Persian Gulf between the Saudi eastern coast and the Iranian coast is about 200 kilometers. The move comes after Iran's Shahid drones pummeled Gulf countries over the past few months during the West Asian War, exposing how low-cost kamikaze drones can overwhelm expensive and advanced air defense systems. And the world is increasingly copying Iran's cheap, mass-produced and deadly Shahid drones, especially the Shahid 136 variant. Remember, this drone carries a 40-kilogram warhead, flies at nearly 185 kilometers per hour, and it can strike targets up to 2,000 kilometers away. At an estimated cost of around $35,000 per unit, the Shahid offers a far cheaper option than high-end military drones, some of which can cost as much as $16 million each. In many cases, shooting down these kamikaze drones costs far more than launching them. And that asymmetry is pushing governments across the world to look for alternatives. With Russia being one of the first countries outside of Iran to embrace this strategy, Moscow now builds its own version of the Shahid drone, and it has used it extensively in its war against Ukraine. In fact, according to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia has launched more than 57,000 Iranian-designed Shahid drones since the war began in 2022. Even the United States has moved in the same direction. Washington deployed low-cost FPV kamikaze drones, also known as Lucas, developed by reverse engineering Iran's Shahid 136 design, for the first time during its war against Iran. For Saudi Arabia, this project is also about building a domestic defense industry. The kingdom, which imports most of its military equipment, aims to localize 50% of its defense spending by 2030.